We talked about a so-called Great American Road Trip for a few years. When my daughter Sierra moved to Pittsburgh, we gained purpose. Sierra chose Pittsburgh because of the University of Pittsburgh and to rejoin longtime friend Sarah. Her father Miro is center in this picture. These first recordings were taken when I visited Pittsburgh in May 2023. We scheduled May 2024 because the climate seemed right, and that was a good guess. We left Friday evening, May 10th, and yes, doing that caused us to miss the northern lights over Portland that night. Just a small regret. Our first few days, we were concerned about keeping a schedule, so the Elkhorns here, near Baker City, and this, Devil's Slide in Utah, were our scenic viewing along I-84. Ladies and gentlemen, the Greater Green River Intergalactic Spaceport. And I'm not sure there's even pavement to the airstrip that's supposed to be out there. As you can see, there's some cones over there, so there's a dirt track at least, which happens with some airports. And we'd like to thank the aficionados for not stealing this sign before we arrived. Some oddities Christy wanted to visit included oddly shaped ice cream stands. This is the Churn in Old Town Fort Collins, Colorado. Yes, shaped like a churn. It's within a nice downtown plaza, by the way. Worth a good visit. Instead of making a gung-ho drive for time, we stayed 2 nights in Denver. We stayed at The Source in the River North Arts District, with a decent view of downtown, and a little moon to boot. This is known as the Literary Rest Area, just before Iowa City. It's completely arranged to showcase Iowa writers and writing. However, the birds say it better than I do. This is the Blues Brothers car on a pole near Joliet, Illinois, now another Route 66 landmark. St. Joseph Cemetery, Fremont, Ohio. Just the Thaddeus Schmidt grave. And a couple of these here. And I don't see any markings on this because I don't know if those are to the children, but there's Teresa Schmitz. Just a few miles from Fremont is Clyde, Ohio. This is the Twist. We enjoyed ice cream for lunch. Christie's peanut butter shake was total peanut buttery goodness. Not that we set out to make this cemetery day, but if you're familiar with Night of the Living Dead, you may recognize this area from the opening scene. So we arrived Thursday evening at Sierra and Sarah's house, and we got familiar with the house rules. Special emphasis on no non-consensual stabbing, and brevity, no soul, no wit. And hey, more ice cream. Page's is a landmark in the South Pittsburgh Flats. On Friday the 17th, we visited the Andy Warhol Museum. I think these works speak for themselves. That evening got delayed because of a tornado warning. A few backyards and trees got rearranged. Dinner time, Pittsburgh, the Abbey. Saturday night, I returned to Highmark for Pittsburgh Riverhand Selfie. I thought the post-sunset looked better than another train passing by. It's Dippy, Pennsylvania's famed Diplosaurus. Sunday, we visited the University of Pittsburgh's Phipps Conservatory. It should be evident looking at these that I might have a particular flower type. The butterfly room appears to be the star attraction here. With a Sunday sunset, we say goodbye to Pittsburgh. And then say goodbye to the ladies. The next day, near a long drive's end in the St. Louis suburbs, we hear screeching. I fear our baby, our Subaru, is having a problem. But the screeching didn't end after we turned her off. That noise was these guys, Brood 19 cicadas. On Tuesday, a few miles before Lebanon, Missouri, I pulled off the interstate and took old Route 66 into that small town. Someone had appropriated an old sign and a rocket. I had stopped at an old motel, enjoyed some of the signage they had, and then stopped at Old Rinks Market, where I visited in 1993. No longer a market. The Blue Whale of Catoosa, Oklahoma, also on Route 66. We chose a Caribbean-owned Caribbean restaurant in Tulsa that night named Cicero's, one of the best meals we've ever had on a trip. We viewed sites of the Tulsa Race Massacre, a devastating part of American history. This was as affluent a black neighborhood as any in the country. Burned almost completely down. These plaques in the sidewalk along Greenwood Avenue identified destroyed businesses. Just a little palate cleanse here. On Wednesday the 22nd, my third visit to the Cadillac Ranch out of Amarillo, Texas. You can see the spray paint business out here was good the last few days. The wind is as expected as well. We also stopped in Tucumcari, New Mexico. We didn't stay this time. I've done it twice, including the charming Blue Swallow Motel. Eventually, we got to stay a couple of nights in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Roam a few streets, enjoy the adobe, the general old world feel of Santa Fe, a very old world. A few margaritas, just generally kicking back. Just into Colorado, among the mesas, Chimney Rock. Then just the other side of Cortez, Colorado. I actually waited 3 minutes too long to take this shot, but you get a lot of lenticular clouds in this view. We're seeing a lot more of that, probably over Cortez. And we missed our chance to get some red rock shots in Moab, Utah. Darn it. But we did get to go see Freak Alley one more time in Boise. Our closing act was a stop in Hood River on the way home. I've basically seen the journey as being the destination. My wife has always seemed to focus on the destination. The challenge of this trip was to find balance between these philosophies during the limited time we could take for this trip because we work for the man. This kind of trip can take a month if done well. Yet our destination was clearly defined. That destination was clearly appreciated, though we failed to take video of the really squishy, not wide enough, sometimes cobblestone paved and very hilly streets. And somehow, despite myself, I managed to help my wife appreciate the journey. We've learned to appreciate the local color in moderation.